Are you looking to start playing pickleball, or do you want to make sure you know all of the rules and etiquette as of 2024? In that case, you are in the right place. This video will teach you everything you need to know to start playing pickleball, including what gear you need, updated rules, and some important pickleball etiquette at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
First, let's dive into pickleball equipment. You can always start with the cheaper stuff or get something that will last a while, but here are the basic necessities you need to get out onto the court. First, a durable pickleball paddle. There are plenty of options out there, but we recommend you doing your research and finding the quality paddle that suits you. Next are the pickleballs. If you plan on playing outside, we recommend a 40-hole hard shell outdoor pickleball. If you plan on playing indoor pickleball, we recommend a 24-hole soft shell indoor pickleball. Now, let's get on to the court.
We're going to start here by explaining the basics of the pickleball serve. Serving in pickleball, you want to make sure to stand behind the baseline, and then in between, if each of these sidelines here and here were extended, you want to make sure you're in between those. That's pretty much everything you need to know as far as where you stand. You could serve it and then obviously come into the court. The two main types of serves are going to be first the drop serve and then the volley serve. So the drop serve is very simple. You'll just hold the ball out, and without applying downward pressure, you're just going to drop the ball, and then as it bounces, you can strike it. So I'm going to drop it, and then I can go ahead and strike it. Second main type of serve is what's called the volley serve. And the volley serve is where you're going to hold the ball out, and same thing, you're not going to apply downward pressure, but you're just going to drop the ball and then strike it before it hits the ground. When performing the volley serve, you want to make sure your paddle is traveling upwards the entire time, or at least finishes higher up than where you started. So no sideways kind of motions, or definitely not an overhead like a tennis serve. So you want to start lower than you finish. Okay, so on the same note, you're going to want to make sure that as you're coming through, the paddle does not go above your wrist. So the highest point of the paddle, most likely being the edge, cannot come above the wrist. So you couldn't come through like that. Paddle has to stay below the wrist. Here's fine, here's fine. That's not okay. So lastly, when you're coming through on the serve, the contact with the ball must be made below your waist. You can't come above the waist. Okay, so when serving, you're gonna wanna serve across court. So if you're starting where the paddle is right now, you'd wanna serve to that green square across the court. And then obviously if you're starting on the left side, you're gonna serve across to the other green square on the right side. Another very common rule in pickleball is the kitchen, right? You've probably heard of it if you've played any pickleball before. This area right here is gonna be the kitchen. You absolutely can come into the kitchen at any time and hit the ball if it bounces. But if the ball has not bounced, you cannot hit it in the kitchen. So when it comes to the kitchen, there's a common misconception that you can actually come up to the kitchen, strike the ball in the air, and then finish in the kitchen off balance. That's actually not the case. When you're striking the ball, you have to strike it in the air and then come to a balance point before re-entering the kitchen. Okay, so while we're up by the kitchen, I'll explain a common pickleball fault where the rule actually changed as of 2024. So prior to 2024, you weren't allowed to carry technically, but if it was deemed unintentional, you could actually carry the ball on your paddle and shoot it over the net. As of 2024, you can no longer do any form of carry. So just make sure as you're coming through the zone, you're contacting the ball and the ball is immediately leaving the paddle and not carrying across. Next, we'll touch on double hits, and double hits are actually legal as long as they're unintentional. So if you're coming through the zone and you might notice you kind of hit the ball a little bit and then hit it again, as long as your paddle is consistently traveling forward and you didn't mean to do it, those are actually going to be legal. The previous rule is if the ball were to hit the top of the net and go over, it's going to be a live ball. And this counted even if the ball went over and then struck the net on the way down and messed up its ball flight. However, as of 2024, the rule is now called the draping net rule. And if the net is hanging out like this due to wind or just the structure of the net, and it hits the net on the way down and messes up the flight like that, it's going to be just a redo of the points. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about scoring. So for both doubles and singles in pickleball, you can only score a point when you're serving. Most games are played to 11 points, but you must win by 2 points. This means if the score is 10-10, the game continues until a team leads by 2 points. All right, next up, let's jump into the scoring for singles games. And after that, we'll get into doubles. They are going to be slightly different. So I think the best way to explain scoring is going to be to do a mock game here. You can see I'm starting on the right side of the court, and that is because when you have an even number for your score, you start on the right side. When your score is an odd number, you'll be on the left side of the court. Okay, so now I won that point. My score goes up to 1-0, and I'm going to serve from the left side of the court because I have an odd number for my score. Okay, and Kyle comes through and wins that next point, but notice his score does not increase because he was not serving there. So he's going to take the ball now because he won that point, and he's going to serve from the right side similar to how I did. And because he wins this point again, the score is now going to be tied 1-1. And now he'll serve from the left side of the court because his score is an odd number. And each change of serving is called a side out, which means the next person gets to serve. And you'll see I won that last point, so I'm serving again. Note that because my score is an odd number, I go straight to the left side to serve. And you probably already guessed this when it comes to positioning, but the positioning is always determined by the server, and that means that the returner will always be diagonal to the server. Hopefully this section wasn't too confusing. If you're trying to learn the scoring and positioning, the best thing you can do is just go play, and you'll get a hang for it pretty quick. Also, you might want to watch this section over a couple times.
Alright, let's dive in on how to score doubles. When scoring doubles, the score is made up of 3 numbers. The serving team score, the receiving team score, and the server number. In doubles, the team that starts the game serving only gets 1 service opportunity. For example, if Adam and I are the first team serving for this game, Adam's going to serve from the right side of the court and call out 0-0-2. Let's say Adam and I won that previous point. That would mean he would serve from the other side of the court and call out 1-0-2 before serving the ball. So Adam and I lost that previous point. And since we only get 1 serving opportunity, the serve goes to the other team. We ended up winning 2 in a row, which means the serve comes back to us. Since I am on the right side of the court, that means I serve first. The score would now be called out 1-0-1 because it's our team's first service opportunity. Once again, let's say Adam and I won that point. That would mean Adam and I would switch spots and I would serve calling out 2-0-1 with me still being the first server. Unfortunately, we lost that point. That means the serve now goes over to Adam and he's calling out 2-0-2 with him being the second server.
Alright, that's all we got for scoring, so let's move forward to another very important rule.
Another rule in pickleball is the bounce rule. So when serving,
Your opponent will have to let the ball bounce, so Kyle's going to let the ball bounce once here, and then I'm going to have to let his return bounce here, and then now we're free to hit the ball in the air.
Next up, let's dive into some pickleball etiquette that you need to know. Being honest with your opponent and yourself is key to a fun pickleball match. In this case, Adam serves me the ball, I hit the ball back, he then returns the ball and I volley it in the kitchen. Adam calls me out on it, I admit to it, and he wins the point. Another big piece of etiquette is when you're in doubt, play it out. In this case, the ball is hit very close to that line. I'm not sure if it's out or not, so I'm just going to play it.
When calling the ball out, we'll want to make sure we can visibly see the space between the ball and the line, and also make sure to say it verbally as well as point one finger in the air.
it should look something like this. Out.
Alright, what's up guys? I'm Adam and we really appreciate you making it this far into the video. This is our first video on the Vertex channel, so really excited to have you here. If you guys play pickleball with any of your friends, make sure to share this video with them so y'all can be on the same page when it comes to the rules and just make the game more enjoyable.
Hey guys, I'm Kyle. We thank you again for making it this far into the video. We have plenty of educational and entertaining content coming your way, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace out. Peace.